It feels so weird being on this channel instead of Anna. Can you hear them now? They're really loud. Oh,
I don't think so. I don't think it's picking them up.
oh maybe I'm crazy. They are driving me up the wall. They start tweeting like now, and then they don't stop until like the sun goes down. And I'm convinced they're in the like they're actually in the loft. I don't think they're outside.
They could well be.
Oh, we are on. So, how are we all feeling this morning?
They could well be.
Oh. How are we all feeling this morning?
Sleepy. As usual, though. Let's be honest. I'm always sleepy on the sprints.
Yeah, the crew have made it. Oh. Did you get plenty of sleep? Because I didn't. Oh no. We were up until 2:30.
It was 3 before I was actually like in bed ready to sleep.
Yeah, me too.
So I had, what is that, 4 hours sleep?
Sylvie, where did you get up?
Oh, how do we do these things? Why do we do these things? I think it was when we noticed as well when we were there, like, oh, we're the 3 who have to be up for this. Oh dear.
We should not have been the last one standing.
No.
The first one's gone.
I just never want to go to bed. I don't think I've ever like grown up in that respect. I'm like, don't make me go to sleep. Like, I'll stay awake.
Yeah, I'm someone who like I never want to go to sleep, but then I never want to get up either.
Yeah.
Like
being in bed. It's my favorite place, but I don't want to like go to sleep.
Spend too much time there, I think. But when I move home, then I won't be able to because I don't have a bed. I'll be sharing with my sister. So we'll be having a very sleepy reading sprints today, by the sounds of it. I'm going to make sure that I've set out the link.
I love that plant by your window.
I keep like running into it, but she's blooming, which I didn't know they could do. I feel like a proud plant parent.
You did. My dad got into plants in lockdown as like his thing to do, and he's quite distressed every time he thinks one of them's going to die, which is quite often. So
relatable.
All of Please, you have to be able to hear them.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I do feel your pain though, because when I was at uni, I had a room with a chimney in it for some reason. I think it was just, it had been a living room that was really big, and then he wanted more money, so he just cut it in half and made it.
I remember you saying, yeah.
And then a bird got stuck in my chimney because that was just a disaster waiting to happen. So I very much empathize with your pain. I could hear it like fluttering against the wall, and it was very distressing.
Yeah, I used to be able to hear them. I used to be able to like hear like mummy bird, but they must have laid eggs and they've hatched because now it's just chip 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 all day, every day. or like you said, oh, who wants to tell Aoife? 2:30. 2:30. And we weren't even gonna leave, and then we were just like, we've got to be up in like 6 hours, guys. Oh, what is everybody reading then? Have you got the energy to read?
I don't have the energy to make a decision, so I'm gonna put it to you. Neither of these are actually on the TBR that I filmed yesterday, but we're not gonna discuss that. So I have these, and I don't know which one. This is like a Regency fantasy.
I was like,
this is like a Regency fantasy of manners situation. And then Rivera is like a YA fantasy, and there's like political intrigue and drama and things, and I don't know which to pick.
I've heard amazing things about Raybearer.
Same.
Other one, is it called Midnight Bargain?
Midnight Bargain, yeah.
Is it gay?
I don't know.
Because it sounds like if it was gay, it would be amazing.
I don't think so from the back.
In that case, I vote Raybearer.
No, Raybearer. Okay.
I agree.
You agree. Raybearer is. Thank you.
What about you, Anna?
Well, I should be reading Playing Bad Heroines because it's my book club book, but I feel like I need to be sort of on for that because I sort of have to know what's going on. And maybe like make notes. I was like, no, not today. So I'm just gonna go with something easy, which is Cassandra Clare, which this arrived pretty recently. So I feel like I'm just gonna be like, let it wash over me. Because I mean, this is like usually reading a Shadowhunter book would be like, okay, I have to like be on and remember everything's happening. But because I just read one in March, I'm like, okay, I sort of know what's going on, and I can just slip back into it. So
I caved, and I'm reading Six of Crows. So I started it yesterday and got like 50 pages in, and I really enjoyed it. And then I was like, I don't want to read this because I'm going to get hooked. So I've still got absolutely no interest in reading the Shadow and Bone series. But this one I like already. So
yeah, I wasn't sure because I was like, I had just reread Shadow and Bone before the TV show came out because I was like, I want to actually remember stuff because every time an adaptation comes out, people ask me, "You've read the books? Is it the same?" And I'm always like, so I actually wanted to know this time. But then the bits of the show that I liked the most were the bits with the crows. And I'm like, is that just because I didn't reread Six of Crows, so it felt like fresher to me? Or is it because that's just a better series in my eyes and that's the one I enjoyed more? And I think it's probably a bit of both. So I want to reread Six of Crows so that I can sort of be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all I care about. I don't mind watching Alina and the Darkling because it'll go nice and fast. But because I did read the first book, but it was the Six of Crows bits that I was like, oh, I love them. I want Jasper. I want to live on a homestead with that little goat. Did I tell you guys I was looking at getting a goat when I moved home? This is a few weeks ago. I was looking at kittens. Not kittens. Yeah, they were kittens from a farm. And they do like rescue animals. So they do like rescue guinea pigs, rabbits. And I was like, oh, I could get one of them. And then it said goats. And I was like, I want a goat. I can't have a goat, obviously, but I want one. I have a couple of books on the go, but think I'm going to try and finish Dry by Neil Shusterman. I've only ever read a Wind by him. And then all of a sudden he had like 20 books out that were going wild on BookTube. And I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I read Scythe. And I need to carry on with that series because I've already forgotten this. But yeah.
Aoife's rereading The Hate You Give. Aoife, that's not on your Advent TBR. We need to get cracking on that if you want to buy books. I'm reading This Is Going to Hurt by Adam K. I'm not really enjoying it. Oh, I've never heard anybody not enjoy that book.
Same.
to my wrap up. Yes, Paris. I can't wait for your long video. Yeah, like literally everyone I've spoken to who's read This Is Going to Hurt loves it. So hopefully you get through it and like it a bit more. I'm reading Are We All Lemmings and Snowflakes. Is that the Holly Bourne book? I think I nearly bought that one the other day. He's on it. I'd barely finished my sentence. Okay, so should we do? Are we ready to sprint now?
Mhm.
Do one nice and early. Okay, so let me remember how to do this because I'm dumb. So share screen, Chrome tab, timer. Sorry guys, I'm just speaking to myself. You can see that. Oh yeah, there we go. Right,
I fully might fall asleep, so. You're on mute, Shara, still.
That's fine. I hadn't started speaking yet. Oh, I couldn't find how to stop it, so I just shut the whole tab. Oh, how did we do?
I read like 50 pages and I just got to the end of a chapter and things are getting like very dramatic. So I'm enjoying it so far.
How many pages?
It's like big words. I read 54 pages, but it's like big type and it's
well done.
YA, so it reads quite fast.
I read 23.
I read exactly 30, which is slow for me, I think. But also I'm tired. Where did we get up to in the comments? Yeah. Oh, okay. Just the vibes making light and fun out of people's medical problems. Oh, snap, Sylvie. That's like the peak amount of pages to read. Yeah. I want to read this really slow. I feel like I'm like 18 again. Reading this, I'm like, oh, I like it. How old was I when this came out? 2005. So, I was 21. I feel like in my head it came out when I was still a teenager.
Did you say 2005?
2015.
Oh.
I might have said 2005. 2015. No, I'm not that old. Gosh. 32. 29 pages and made breakfast.
Nice.
I might have to make breakfast in the next one because I'm hungry.
Yeah, I was so glad I was on mute because I was like, my tummy's going to start up like any minute now.
I was just texting Shannon like, I miss you. Well, her birthday present is it's in the world somewhere. It just hasn't arrived. So I don't think it'll get there till at least Tuesday now.
We have a whole birthday week.
Yeah. Well, I ordered it on Wednesday and it did say 5 to 7 days. And I just thought, oh, that's just pandemic extra time they're giving. But no, it's actually going to take the full 7 days. But I wasn't paying £10 for delivery, like next day delivery.
That's so much.
So, yeah, the post is expensive.
It is expensive. I got a package, I got a note through the door saying that I had to pay £18 for a customs charge on a package, and I was like, oh, £18, and it wasn't extraordinarily heavy. Just my friend had sent me a little care package thing from America, but there wasn't that much in it.
Yeah, why were you paying customs on that?
Yeah, I don't know, because when I arrived, it had a receipt sticker on it that she had paid $57 on her end. So I'm like, why are they charging me 18 quid?
Jesus. Surely you can dispute that.
Well, I just got a thing through the door being like, you have to pay it, otherwise we'll send it back. And I was like, oh, shit. And I only had a couple of days well, not a couple of days. It was 20 days, 21 days or something. I pay this charge, otherwise they would send the parcel back. So obviously I didn't want to see that. So. Yeah.
When do we get to see the video, Caris? Well, we'll normally charge £8 or something as well for the admin of adding a customs charge.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I thought you didn't have to pay it on gifts. I thought it was purchases from companies, unless it was food and stuff.
No, not food. I mean, it's weird because we do it a yearly thing, send each other little boxes, and it doesn't I mean, yeah, usually it's expensive to ship, but you don't have to pay to receive it. So,
I have
yay.
to be sorted.
Yeah, I've got to put mine up as well. I finished editing the other night, but I need to actually put it on YouTube. I just exported it and then I was like, oh, I'll do the next part another day, and then I forgot about it until Kara said that just now.
We're all in agreement. Shouldn't.
You should be able to, like, even after the fact, like, surely open up some kind of dispute, because it's supposed to be like the VAT that you pay plus the admin fee, which is bullshit. But like, if it's a gift, you shouldn't have to pay VAT for it.
I'll look it up. Yeah, no, it was a bit jammy.
Admin fees are ridiculous. Like, admin fees are like more than the hourly rate of the person doing the admin.
I know.
Yeah. And also, I remember once, like, completely different situation, but when I was moving into one of my, like, uni accommodations, and they charged us 50 quid just to change the name on the lease agreement. Like, when you could see the breakdown of, like, where they charged you for what thing, and literally just changing the name on the contracts, they charged you 50 quid for that. And I was like, that's ridiculous.
It is stupid.
It's not £50 worth of labor to, like, erase the name and put in someone else's name. I mean, that's just so stupid.
Estate agents are just the absolute worst for that sort of thing. Like, the things that they'll charge you for, even now when they're not supposed to, like, they're not allowed to charge you all these like random fees, but they just put it in somewhere else.
Yeah, the year that I basically moved into that flat was the year that they started saying, oh, maybe we shouldn't be charging these stupid fees. And I was like, oh. There was a specific one, I can't remember what it was, that was like then literally the year after that I moved into that little flat, that they were like, oh yeah, estate agents aren't allowed to do this anymore. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. It's application fees, isn't it? They can't
Yeah.
charge anymore.
What was it?
Application fees.
Yeah.
I can't believe they were ever allowed to charge those in the first place. Like, what do you mean I have to pay you like 100 quid just to apply for this property when you could have somebody lined up to rent it like tomorrow? Like, how was that ever allowed?
Rich people.
Yes, Leanne, I got one of those. Luckily, B sent me the tweet where this woman had tweeted that she got this text from Royal Mail being like, you have to pay £2 on this package, and she didn't think anything of it because she was expecting a package, and so she just paid it, and then basically got an alert from Barclays being like, it's a scam, you need to sort of move all your money. And then the thing from Barclays was a scam, and they just took all the money. Yeah, it was terrifying because when Barclays phoned her up, they like knew all of her like details about like how much money she had, what she had in her savings.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
And it was really horrific. And like on the phone as well, she was saying, "Oh, thank God, like you caught this because I'm a student, I can't afford to like lose any money." And like still after all this, like, you know, and then they only got caught out when they said, "Oh, we have to move all the money from your overdraft." And she was like, "Oh, but I don't have an overdraft. I wasn't like approved for one. I've been trying for one for months." And they were like, no, we need the money from your overdraft. And she, like, as soon as they said that, she realized that like it wasn't real, and then just like, you know, started crying or whatever. God. And then she wrote all this out on Twitter, and then B sent it to me being like, "Oh, just be on the lookout." And then like a couple of weeks later, I got the text being like, "You have to pay £2 Royal Mail," and it was from like a mobile number. It didn't say like Royal Mail at the top, so that's how you can always tell that it's like not legit. But it was just really terrifying. Like,
if I get a text from my bank, I always ring them. Always, because they do text you, and sometimes you look at it and you're like, I don't know. So I always ring them and say, "Oh, I've just got this text. I just wanted to check." And I think most of the times I've done it, I think every time I've done it, it's been, oh yeah, it's genuine. But there's been a couple of times, like I went out with somebody who was really stupid a few years ago, who just believed everything and would just click links and stuff. I'm like, oh, please have a brain cell. And he got scammed like 4 times in a year.
You'd learn. Surely you'd learn.
You have too much faith in the Nigerian princes.
Like, paying to renew a contract as well is ridiculous because they're not doing any work.
Oh, don't even get me started on the bloody carpet. Oh my God. So in the flat that I was living in, this crappy flat, like it wasn't a crappy flat, it was just the estate agent was awful. And that was the only place I'd lived in at uni that had an estate agent. Thankfully, the place we got afterwards was just like a private landlord. And he was like not the best, but he was fine. And he was, would fix anything that went wrong. But with this estate agent, it was just a nightmare. So basically, the carpet was coming away from the threshold. So like there were spikes sticking up like out of the carpet because the threshold had come loose. So we contacted them, being like, "Hey, can you replace this? That's like spiky. We're gonna injure ourselves." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get the carpets removed. And so like don't worry about it, and we're gonna replace the carpets." And we're like, "Okay." And then at the end of our year there, at the end of our lease, they had this thing in the contract, like a clause that we had to professionally clean the carpets. We're like, but we have a written confirmation from you that you're going to replace the carpets when we move out. So why do we need to deep clean the ones that are already here? Because they wouldn't have taken it anyway. The carpets was just like, it was all coming away. And I was like, we have written confirmation that you're going to strip these carpets out and replace them. Why do we have to pay £100 to get them professionally cleaned when you're not keeping these carpets? It just doesn't make any sense. And we still have to pay it.
Yeah. It's like in Lena's video where she talked about being charged like £20 for light finger marks on light switches.
Oh, I know, it's ridiculous.
They just know that like people are just so desperate to have like a place now. That's what the market's like. They just know they can charge whatever, and if you can pay it, you'll just pay it because it's not worth the hassle.
I get a call literally every day from somebody claiming to be from the COVID test centre and like asking for medical details. And I'm like, I haven't been for a test, so you clearly have not got any information on me. And then they're like, oh, somebody you've been in contact with. I'm like, nice of you to assume I have in real life friends. Like I've been at home by myself for the last week. I don't think I've been in contact with anybody who has COVID. Thank you.
I keep getting calls saying that there's a warrant out for my arrest, and I'm like, okay, what have I been up to?
And now I keep getting the classic, we believe you've been in a car accident. I'm like, literally not possible. Never owned a car, can't drive, have not been in a car for about 5 years. So not true. And they're like, oh. I think they all have my number because I remember like 2 summers ago, my mum was like really getting on my back about getting a job. And she found this really, looking back, it was quite a dodgy website, but she thought it was legit, so I just believed her because I don't know. And it was like, get paid for doing surveys, whatever. And basically, you just did different surveys on different websites, and then when you'd done enough surveys and you hit a threshold of like £20, then they would send you the £20, but you had to do like enough to kind of get any money out of it. But every single survey that you filled out for every single company, or sometimes it was like taking out free trials on things and then you could cancel them after, but like just taking out the free trial got you like closer to the £20 threshold. But every single survey that you fill out, they ask you for a mobile number. And me being dumb, I was like, oh yeah, I'll put my number. So I just think all of these sort of dodgy, like tiny companies that I've never made accounts with just have all of my details from this like dodgy thing that I did like 2 years ago. So my mum was on my back being like, you need to get a job. I didn't even get the £20 because I got bored of it. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I got an actual job. And then ever since then, I've been blaming my mum, being like, Mum, this is the reason I get dodgy phone calls all the time.
This is why I change my number every time I get a new phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot be bothered with that. I can't learn a new phone number. It's just not going to happen.
But it's so easy, and then like nobody from your past can get in touch with you, and love it. new phone
Yeah,
number.
I have to like get in touch with all of my various family members who I barely speak to be like, oh, by the way, I've got a new number, because like I'm now the point of contact for me and my brother. So like I need to have all of my various aunts and uncles and numbers and things. Otherwise they will never be able to get in touch with us again.
That's what Facebook's for.
They're not even on Facebook. I'm barely on Facebook.
I've not spoken to so many family for like so long, and they all found out I was moving home by Facebook because it's effort. And I'd have their name saved in my phone and be like, "Who is this?"
About like every 3 months or so, there'll be a text like basically like, "Hello, are you still alive?" And that's about as far as it goes. We're not a very like close-knit family, which is a little bit sad, but that's fine.
I don't believe close-knit families actually exist.
They do though, and it always surprises me when like I have friends who like see their extended family all the time, and I'm just like, I don't understand how this works.
Yeah, like my family is just not that we're not close knit, but we're just like geographically very far away. So we just sort of catch up. So my dad's sister and her family are in Canada. My mum, her parents are in Georgia. That's where I was born, the country, not the state. So like it's like Georgia, Canada, and then my grandma, when she was still with us, was in Scotland. So it was like we just geographically we just never linked up, and it just didn't, you know. And yeah, it was just everyone was just sort of spread out in the far corners of the world, so we didn't really get to see each other, which was so alien to me when I went to sort of school, and then people were like, "Oh yeah, I'm just seeing my cousins at the weekend." I'm like, what? So I would have to take like 2 flights to go and see my cousins. Yeah.
I feel this. I've always been closer to my partner's family, which is weird because I'm literally in their lives for like a year.
You making it happen.
Yeah. Should we do another sprint at 11?
Yes. I'm gonna plug in my laptop because it's running out of charge, but it might start going like because every time my laptop has to do anything whilst it's on charge, it complains. So if you can hear like a big fan, it's me.
I'm getting really sleepy now.
Are you somebody who naps, or will you just power on through?
I try not to nap because my sleep schedule is already, well, non-existent as it is. But if I'm like physically not functioning, then I might as well be asleep. But I will try and like power through till bedtime this evening.
I will definitely have a nap at some point. I don't care about these rules about being an adult. Oh, I can't believe you can't hear these birds. Driving me up the wall.
I can hear a bird, but I think it's like literally in the tree outside rather than in your flat.
Okay, let's have 30 minutes. I've got like 30 tabs open as well because of uni. There we go. Anna, you look like you just want to sleep.
I got quite close in that one, I'm not gonna lie.
Aww. How much did you read?
27 pages.
I got to the end of part 1, so it was about 40 pages, and got breakfast.
I read about another 50 pages and got more coffee.
Oh, I do need another coffee. But I don't want to do a toilet run yet. See? Naps, Sylvie. You're allowed.
I love naps. It's just that like my sleeping is just such a struggle as it is, that if I have a lot of purposeful naps, then like I just won't sleep through the night.
Well, we're always available for late night Zoom calls. Thank you. I thought I was going mad. I'm pretty sure there's a nest in the corner of my loft, and all I can hear all day, every day, is baby birds chirping, and it's sending me whappy. And everyone else says they can't hear them. Like, I scrapped a video yesterday because all you could hear was the birds. Hi. Aw. You need to be sorry for being late. I'm surprised we made it.
That's fair.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, 50 pages. You're all doing so well. Part of me wants to try and just read all of this book today, and the other part of me is like, you have uni deadlines on Wednesday, Shah, that you haven't started.
Maybe.
And it usually takes me about a month to write an essay.
Do you have work between now and Wednesday, or do you have like 3 days?
No, I've took this week off.
So you can like dedicate.
Yeah, I mean the creative writing one is nearly done. That's kind of easy, but the actual essay, I forgot how to write an essay, and then I need to actually start on my dissertation.
God. I'm so glad that I decided to do this master's part-time, because there is no way I would have done a dissertation this year. Like, I feel really pathetic. Like, I've barely scraped through doing this master's part-time as it is. So I'm like, had I done it full-time, I would have dropped out by now. It would not have happened.
Like, this time last year, I was so grateful that I'd done it part-time, but now I'm just like, oh, I wish I'd just done it full-time and got it all out of the way, because I can't be bothered anymore. My motivation is so low. I was so I was so excited to do my dissertation. Like, I knew that this is what I was doing my dissertation on literally when I went back to uni, and now I can't be bothered.
I'm really looking forward to doing my dissertation because we've done all our modules this year, and then next year I'm just doing the dissertation. And as long as he lets me do the one I want, as long as I haven't messed up the report that I had to hand in last week, then I'm really looking forward to what I'll be doing. So, like, fingers crossed. It should be a good time.
Was it a graded report or was it just a proposal?
Oh no, it's nothing to do with the dissertation. It's the same lecturer who would be my supervisor, and I kind of didn't give myself enough time to write this report, so like it's not as good as I want it to be. And the dissertation idea that I have, he says like it's a good idea. It needs someone clever to do it, which, judging on last semester's grades, he was like, you'll be fine. But I'm like, but if I've given you a terrible report, then you're not going to let me do it. But it should be right. I just like to worry.
Yeah, my proposal was just really quick. But I'd already like agreed with my supervisor that she was going to be my supervisor like a year ago. And like, she always gives me the worst grades, but she's like, but you're such a clever girl. And I'm like, okay, now I'm confused. But she's really supportive, so
that's good.
Yeah, as long as I just get it finished, that's all I want right now. Yay! I like when people finish.
How was the book?
Yeah, what did you think of it?
We need a review.
How was Raybearer, Sylvie?
It's really good. Like, people are not lying when they say that it's a really good book. I'm very much enjoying it, and it's very like, it's not like tense, but like there's a lot happening. And blurb doesn't give very much away about stuff that's even revealed like quite early on, which I really enjoy, because then it's just like extra things that I didn't know. So
yeah, I tried to go into books as blind as I possibly can be, because I mean, I just like the experience, because I feel like so often like blurbs will tell you like the first half of the plot, and I'm like, I don't want to know.
Or when like it tells you something that doesn't happen until halfway through, and you're like, okay, so
like they'll tell you what like what the big incident is that like kicks everything off, but often that doesn't happen until like a third of the way through. So I'm like, I don't want to know that already.
Yeah, I just want to know like what is the genre? What are the characters like, and is it gay?
Same. Yeah,
like I don't actually need to know about the plot.
Yeah, because I will pick up books for like the most random of reasons. Like, it will mention something and I'll be like, oh, that's like a thing I liked in a different book, and therefore I will read this one and just like hope for the best.
Whereas if it tells me like this long-winded story about their adventure, I'm like, I will figure that out as I read. That is the purpose of a book.
Ooh,
5 stars. One of my favourites of the year. Better than Scythe. There you go. I don't know what The Dry is about.
I read that a couple years ago, and it's like, it was really like intense. It's set in somewhere in America, and there's like a massive drought, and then everybody kind of loses their minds a little bit, and it's like society breaks down and that sort of thing. That's not a very good description, but that was like the loose premise for it. And then you follow different characters as they're trying to like figure out the situation and get to some water, basically.
Was there like a time when a lot of books like that were coming out, because that does not sound like a unique. That like sounds like something I've heard several books about. But then there's The Dry by Jane Harper as well, which is about a drought. This is so interesting. This is one of those books where I've never heard like a bad thing about. I'm thinking this is going to be 2 stars, but I'm doing the Fashion Relay readathon where the hosts are collecting data of whether hype books are worth the hype or not. So at least it's not for nothing. I love when like there's a book that everybody loves and then someone just doesn't. It's just like this random outlier who's like, I didn't like that book even a little bit.
I've not heard bad things about it, but it's also not one that I think I'll read because it's just not like I don't think it's one that I'm particularly interested in.
Yeah, it's just never interested. Like I saw it on everyone's Goodreads when it came out, and then they released that like Christmas spin-off, and I was like, no, it's just not something I want to read about. It's like I'll never watch like a hospital-based drama, you know, like Casualty or Grey's Anatomy. Like I don't want to. I'm not interested in it. I don't want to know what's going on with my body. I want to be blissfully unaware. It's just working and fine until it's not. Like I don't need to be aware of all of the things that can go wrong. Thank you. No.
I think what Rosie's getting here about like the black humour is like a lot of the jokes they make are at the expense of patients. So
I guess like you would have to have a sense of humour if you were in that job though. So I do get it, but also I just wouldn't choose to read something like that. It would just make me.
Sorry, it's interesting that you say you don't like the black humour because that probably would appeal to me because I deal with like dead bodies. Like that's what we do is like anthropology is like I look at skeletons and cause of death and things like this all the time, but it's also more removed because like these people have been dead for like hundreds of years. So although there's still like they were still people and you've still got to be respectful, but it's not like a living person who's like still around living their life while you're, I don't know, profiting off their condition or whatever.
No, that's true. Like it's one that my friend wanted to send me for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I was just like, meh, I wouldn't read it. But like me and like my best friend have completely different taste in books. Like she pretty much only reads memoirs and non-fiction, and like some of them I like, but she will be really drawn in by like an Amy Poehler book, and I'm like, I don't care.
Although I'm pretty enjoying it.
I think she's got like 3 copies of it, and I have a copy, but I read it and was like, meh.
I think I read it when I was in the zone and I was like just discovering Parks and Rec for the first time. So I read it at a really good time on a holiday. So I think that probably influenced my reading a bit because I was just like so excited about this new TV show that I was watching and like being on holiday. I definitely feel like the mood that I'm in like impacts how I feel about the books I'm reading at the time.
Yeah. Like I do like a memoir every now and then, but it's not the main thing that I read. But if Taylor Swift released a memoir, I'd have had it read like the day it came out, and I'd have so many videos about it. It just sounds like a book against everything you stand for, Rosie. Like literally every single thing. I remember being so horrified by the first episode of Casualty I ever watched at my grandma's house, and it was literally like this girl was staying with her grandma who refused to make her a hot chocolate, so she went down and boiled some milk herself and then spilled it all over her, and I was like scared of hot chocolate for like 2 years afterwards.
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Casualty, and I'm quite happy to leave it that way.
Yeah, I never want to. It's just always there. Like you're just flicking a channel, so you're like, oh, Jesus, it's like someone being cut open. You're like, who wants to watch this for fun? I don't get it.
Yeah. But it's like
expecting.
People always ask me as well, like, oh, do you watch like 24 hours in police custody? I'm like, no, I deal with that in my job all day, every day. When I go home, I want to switch off. Or when like my colleagues are like, oh, you like reading? Have you read this crime book that's at the top of the chart? I'm like, no, I couldn't be less interested in reading about it. Anything to do like any hospital dramas, any police dramas or reality, I don't know what they're called, like they're not reality shows, but that kind of thing, like documentary type things. Oh, not interested, thank you. Charity shops are open again.
Yeah.
I nearly went mad in one the other day buying books that I just knew I wasn't going to read. I had like 5 in my hand and I was like, I don't actually think I will ever read these books, and put them all back.
Especially right before you've got to move like halfway across the country.
Yeah. I did buy 2 Daphne du Maurier books in a charity shop last week when I went home because they were like brand new. And I like Daphne du Maurier, so I was like, oh, I'll have these. I can't remember which ones they are. I don't even know where they are. But one was called The Birds. It's a short story collection, so maybe that's why I wanted. And I think I can't remember if the other one was Jamaica Inn or if it was something else. But we now have a nice little collection of her books.
I still haven't finished Rebecca. I read the first 30 pages in one of these Sunday sprints like 2 months ago, and I've just not picked it up since.
It is hard going.
I will get to it. I just have got no like concentration span. That's not even the word, attention span recently.
Have you read it before?
No.
No, but it is.
But it needs to be like taken in, which I'm not in a place to be doing.
I read it from uni like 6 years ago, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is tough to get into. I think it's very like it's. I don't like the phrase "well written" because that means nothing, but it's very like proper in the way it's written.
Mm-hmm.
So it is hard, I think. Do you guys want to do one more sprint?
Yeah.
Yeah? We'll do one more half an hour sprint and then chat for a bit, and then we can go and have a nap. Oh, I've forgotten how to do everything. Good. Okay.
My timing with these sprints has been so good. I've like finished a chapter right before each sprint has ended.
Read about 100 pages in total, so I've done well.
Nice one.
But I keep finishing halfway between chapters, so timing's not as good as yours. But it's like literally some chapters are like 5 pages and then some are 30, and it's like,
oh, I hate that. These are all like quite short.
Like short chapters, they keep me going.
Mm.
Yeah. How did you do, Anna?
I read about 26 pages, so I'm like on page 76 or something, so not too bad.
You managed to stay awake.
I did yawn about 7 times, but yes, I'm awake.
During that one, I did just want to like turn everything off and go to sleep, and then I was like, oh, I can't. I'm streaming this time. I don't envy you and Shannon doing this every weekend.
I do enjoy it. It is literally the only day that I have to wake up early because I don't have a job, so it's like I can't start it.
We have a witch among us.
Nice one.
215 pages. How do you? We need a video, Leanne, on how you read so quickly, like your reading tips and stuff, because
I've read 170 pages today, and I was like well impressed with that. So more than 200 is impressive.
I do read fantasy a lot slower.
This is young adult, which always reads faster, and like the type is quite big on this.
I usually read a lot of literary fiction.
Well, the literary fiction I find really slow because I'm not that smart.
No, some of it I read quick, and then others, like if it's quite lyrical, I will read a lot of it and just not take any of it in. But then I'm also like, I might not know what happened, but I read 100 pages in half an hour.
Romance is the other one that always just like reads so fast for me.
Yay!
I mean, I haven't had a shower, so you're doing better than me.
Sorry, my arm got cold.
Why are you still reading it if you don't like it, Rosie? I know it's only short, but we could just DNF it and not have to read all of his not good humour. I say that as someone who very rarely DNFs, though, so I get it.
I don't think I ever intentionally DNF anything. I just sort of put things down and then forget to pick them back up. Like I put them down with the intention of like, oh, I'll get back to that. It's probably just me. I'm in a weird mood and it's like a me problem, so I'll get back to that another time. And then it just doesn't really happen. So
the last
do a lot of that.
DNF.
Yeah. The last book I decisively DNF'd was Carrie Fletcher's most recent one because it was just bad. It was so bad. Like her books are never really that good, but they're fun. And this one was. I pre-ordered a signed edition, and no, it's gone. I sold it for like £2.
Fair enough. I think once you're that close to the end, sometimes you are just like, I might as well go on through.
Yeah. Oh, this has been a very sleepy Sunday morning sprint, reading sprints. But
I'm always sleepy. It's just my
what are you doing with the rest of your day?
I don't know. I'll finally have that donut. I didn't end up having it last night. I didn't want a sugar rush before I went right to bed, so I was like, no, I'll leave it till the morning, even if it's stale. It's a risk I'm willing to take. So I'll have my donut. I might read some more, snooze a little. I don't know.
Very
Not
cool.
me and my plans.
I'd love to know what your mum thinks of it.
Mm.
What are you doing, Sylvie?
I should do some like revision and some studying because all of my assessments at the end of this month, and that suddenly feels a lot closer than it did like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But also, I'm tired.
You're like, oh, it's at the end of next month, but now it's like, oh, it's
Oh god, I have like 4 weeks and so much to cram into my brain. And
God. I just knew I had. I mean, I wanted to do film anyway for all the reasons, but I just couldn't have done a course that had exams. I just can't hack exams. It's just one of those things where it just plays havoc on my body, and I'm physically ill in the run up to exams, and even after they're finished, I still just feel anxious all the time. I just can't do them. Exams, no.
I hate exams, and what I've got, they're not like exams. I've got one that's like a lab test thing. So we get given bits of bone and we have to say what's wrong with them. So like that I can get my head around. I just need to learn a lot. And then the other one that I've got is like this mock court assessment. So I have to give like expert witness testimony and be like cross-examined. So it's not an exam, and I'd still prefer to do this than like a written paper. But also I hate anything like public speaking or being put on the spot. So I am terrified.
I never thought like going to court would have been part of like an archaeology career. Like when you explained
forensic archaeology.
Yeah, when you explained it, it made sense. But I've given evidence in court a few times, and it's the scariest. Like, it's horrible, and I feel dumb. Like when I get up on the podium and I've done I've sworn my oath, and then they start asking me questions, and I'm like, and they ask me a question, and I'm like, are you trying to trip me up here? And they're like, it's not a trick question, and I'm like, yes. I just feel stupid.
Yeah, it's making me nervous. The like, to be fair, the forensic side of things, like that's not, I don't think that's what I want to do. I don't think I want to be like working on like criminal cases and giving testimony in court. I want to like just be in a lab somewhere with some bones and write some papers. Like that's my dream. This is the course that I'm doing, so testimony I must give.
Well, I'm sure you'll smash it anyway.
It'll be fine.
Just pretend you're talking to a camera.
I will be, to be fair. I'll probably be over Zoom.
You'll be able to do it. Ignore the people. Talking to people is the worst. But pretend that you're making a YouTube video. You'll be fine.
We'll be.
I don't watch TV.
Oh, neither.
My dad's very into Line of Duty, so no doubt that will be happening later on in this household. It's the big finale. It's the big one.
Okay.
People are going to be talking about it.
So everything's going to be all over Twitter and Facebook then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got a threatening letter the other day from the TV license company, whoever they are, like, you ignored our last letter, so we've started an investigation now. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know if I got a letter or not. Second of all, my TV is currently sat in my hamster cage because I don't use it and I needed it out of the way. Like, it's usually on the shelf, but it's been on like twice this whole year, so I don't watch it. I'm not paying £13 a month for a TV I don't watch. I literally bought the Normal People DVD because that is the only thing I would want to watch on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, I don't even have a TV. I'm like, I've got Netflix, I've got like all the various other streaming services if I want them. There's not that much that actually gets aired on TV that I want to watch. So
yeah, all that we used our TV for in our like uni accommodation was just to like plug in a laptop via HDMI, and so then you could just watch Netflix on a bigger screen. Like, that was literally all we used it for. It was basically just like a monitor.
That's literally all I use it for. Occasionally stream YouTube. Occasionally watch YouTube on it. Netflix on it, sorry, but in general. I haven't got a clue what is on TV these days. So, should we wrap it up because I'm sleepy? And I've spoken to you guys for about 12 hours in the last 20 or whatever it is. No, it's more than that. What, between 7:30 and now? We've had 9.5 hours, yeah. 10 hours. Oh well.
Like we went to sleep mid-conversation and we woke up like mid-conversation.
That's what it feels like. Oh.
Good old-fashioned sleepover.
Yeah.
So obviously these sprints were just because it's Shannon's birthday. So if you've not wished her a happy birthday, go and do so. And then regular scheduling will be back on Anna's channel next week, I think. Is that right?
Yes, I assume so. Yeah.
So go and subscribe to the lovely ladies. And I'll see you all soon. Bye. Bye.